So for our project, we built a lava lamp. This is one of the ones that we built, one of the first couple. And basically what you're going to need is 90% and 70% isopropyl alcohol, beeswax, some dishwashing soap, some oil pastels, and some food coloring. You'll probably need a knife as well as some other lab equipment. And of course the container that you want to heat the liquid in. First, you need to cleave some beeswax from this brick. The melting temperature of it is 114 degrees, so it's pretty hard stuff to cut through, and we had Bob doing that over there. He's doing a great job. Once you finish that, you need to add it to the cup and then heat it to a liquid. So here it is melted. We're pouring it into a glass container. These could be any types of containers that you have. Alcohol ones. This one's a soapy one, for instance. Avoid putting a hot liquid into a cold container or putting it on a cold countertop. That can break the glass, so be cautious here. Next, you can go ahead and add the 91% isopropyl alcohol, 90 or 91, either one is fine. Fill it up about 3/4 of the way. The wax doesn't need to be solid or can still be melted in order to add this. That's not a concern, but fill it up 3/4 of the way and then put it back on the burner. So now we're going to add 70% isopropyl alcohol, and this is going to make the beeswax a little bit more dense. That means that it's going to float to the top for maybe 1 to 2 seconds and then float back down. That's at least what you're going to be shooting for. You're going to try and get it to that density. If you add too much, it's going to stay at the top. If you add too little, it's not going to come up far enough. Adjusting it very slightly can adjust how quickly or slowly that wax will rise. So right now it's hitting the top for 1 to 2 seconds and then falling. And that cloudiness is going to disappear as the mixture completely mixes. We've put it on a hot plate, and now it's obviously heated. We're ready to add some soap to the liquid. The soap's going to increase the surface tension of the beeswax and make the clumps stick together a little bit more than they are right now. So you can watch it sort of mixing in right now, but it'll be more apparent later. Once your solution is balanced, you can add food coloring to color the alcohol. It's not going to stain the beeswax, so you don't need to be worried about that. It'll only bind to the alcohol. Now if you want to dye the beeswax, you can add oil paint pastels, and that will only bind with the actual beeswax. It will not bind with the water. Mix that in thoroughly. So this is another lava lamp that we made. This one has blue oil pastels as the beeswax and yellow food coloring for the alcohol. As you can see, the blue beeswax is raising because it's so hot that it's becoming more dense than the liquid itself. It's going to rise to the top, and as it cools down, it's going to fall. There are other components for this too. You don't exactly need a heat lamp. You can also use a pot of boiling water, for instance, and that'll be in the next clip. So right here we have it in a pot of boiling water. It's rising a little bit more rapidly because of how hot the container is, and so that's separating the molecules a little bit more than the other one. You could also add more dishwashing detergent if you wanted to increase the surface tension and have these beeswax bubbles sticking closer together. But the best mode of advice is to keep the same method of heating constant for the whole duration of tinkering with these lava lamps. In this one, the actual mixture contained too much 70% alcohol, and so it got too cloudy and we had to redo it. And this one here is the third lava lamp that we made, probably the most functional. It has a blue liquid food coloring component, and then the beeswax is actually the normal color. It's a little bit natural, tannish looking color.